A few months ago, I started working with this client who was a mess. Honestly, the worst condition I've ever had anybody come to me in. He had hated his life for over a decade at this point. He had severe depression and anxiety. He had this course that he had been trying to do for the past years and failed consistently at. He was morbidly obese. He spent entire days on his phone, and I literally mean that, from the second his eyes opened in the morning to the moment he passed out at night. He used to take on average 3 to 4 sleeping pills a night and still wake up multiple times through. It took me 1 month of working with him to 180 his life. It took me 1 month of working with him to help him completely turn his life around. These are some of the reviews he's dropped to me over the past weeks. You know what I did? Within the first call itself, I told him, bro, we're not gonna work on the things you want to work on. There's a deeper problem over here and we need to take care of it first. Honestly, I didn't even tell him what we were gonna work on. I just told him, let me put you on a protocol, let me put you on a routine, follow it, and I promise you we'll change your life. And we did, man. Within a month, we completely turned his life around. We focused on the deeper problem, and as that started to improve, everything started to improve. Everything automatically started to get better. He got back to his course, and he's already made more progress than he had in years. Today he works, he paints, he exercises, he meditates, he journals. In his own words, he's happier than he remembers ever having been. It wasn't discipline, it wasn't motivation, it wasn't willpower. It wasn't any of those things that we needed to work upon. It was his energy. Energy is the greatest currency. Write that down. Bro, without energy, no matter the motivation, no matter how passionate, how dedicated, how disciplined you are, without the energy, what are you gonna do? You're sitting down in a car and you've decided, oh, I'm gonna go to this destination. You're holding onto the steering wheel, you're ready. Without fuel in the tank, what are you gonna do, man? But with energy, with your cylinders running at full power, with a full gas tank, even if you don't have that much discipline, that much willpower, at some point you will end up moving in the general direction that you want to move in. Energy is the greatest currency. Try this out for yourself. From today, prioritize energy. Do everything that adds to your energy levels. Don't do anything that takes away from them. See this, make this one small change and see the difference. See how it impacts your entire life. The following list should get you off to a more than decent start. Every one of the following items plays a major role in your energy levels, but at the same time, they all majorly impact each other as well. Let's get straight into it. Number 1, we cannot have a discussion on energy without talking about this. This, of course, is sleep. That energy tank, that fuel tank that we were talking about earlier, sleep is how you feel it. Sleep is how you recharge it in the first place. Perfect your sleep and I guarantee you that in of itself will add an extra 40-50% to your energy levels. I'll make a detailed video on this if you want, but the protocol is simple. It's a simple 2-step process. Number 1, sleep and wake up at the exact same times every single day. And number 2, have at least 8.5, but ideally even 9 hours between the sleeping and waking up time. I know it's not easy, man. I know it's difficult. I know it feels impossible to cancel or even shorten those weekend plans, but I promise you it's so going to be worth it. Number 2, sunlight. Adrenaline and cortisol. These are the 2 hormones that massively influence the energy levels in your body. You can almost look at them as synonymous with the word energy. But here's the thing, your body clock needs to be in check for your body to be able to release these hormones at the correct times. So early in the morning, 10-15 minutes spent outside with direct sunlight coming to your eyes is one of the best things you can do to keep your circadian rhythm in check. That brings us to our point number 3, food. That midday slump, that midday dip that you experience when you just find yourself zapped of energy, not being able to do anything, that brain fog that you experience, that's the carbohydrates that you're having for your lunch, man. So to whatever extent possible, depending on how important your afternoon productivity is, cut down those afternoon carbs. If you must have them for dinner, have them during the evening, so after which you ideally are not doing any more work. But during the mornings and during the afternoons, try and avoid carbs to as much of an extent as possible. Point number 4, coffee. This was the single biggest change I made to my own energy levels over the past 6 months. And this could, again, turn out to be a whole video in of itself, so I'm going to make this quick, I'm going to keep this short. Put simply, use coffee as a stimulant, not as a dependence. Let me just elaborate a little bit. See, how you want to use coffee, how you want to use caffeine is that you're at your baseline most of the time, 90% of the time, and then 10% of the times you use the stimulant, you use caffeine to give you a boost, to give you a spike in your energy levels, and you're able to get more work done. I'll share with you, I've just gotten done with my own cup of coffee, right? And I'm using that to, this is the fourth video in a row that I'm recording. That's how you can utilize, that's how you can make the most of caffeine. But the problem is, what most people end up doing is that they become dependent on the substance. They develop a dependency. What happens as a result is that all of the time that they're without the substance, all the time that they're without caffeine, they're operating not at baseline but below baseline. And it's only for the few fleeting hours once they've taken their caffeine, once they've gotten their caffeine fix, that they're able to come back to baseline. Instead of it being that you're on baseline and then you go about your life 90% of the time like this, and then for 10% of the times you get a spike, you get a peak over this, what happens for most people, how most people are misusing caffeine, is that 90% of the times they're below baseline, and for that 10%, they're able to come back up to baseline. In short, if you're a regular caffeine user, after you've taken your cup of coffee, you're able to operate at the same level as somebody who just doesn't drink coffee. And without your cup of coffee in the morning, you're 10, 20, 30% below the average person. How fucking miserable is that one, right? So point number 4, sort out your relationship with caffeine. And that brings us to our final point. Point number 5, exercise. Now, I'm just going to touch upon one of the million benefits that you experience from exercising, but it's going to be very logical, very easy to understand. When you end multiple nights, when you repeatedly end days with energy left in the tank, for a lot of people with a full tank, but even if not, with a good amount of energy left in the tank, you signal to your body that you don't need this excess energy. I'm gonna repeat that. When you end multiple days with energy left in the tank, you signal to your body that it's giving you excess energy, that you don't need this much energy. What happens as a result of that is that over time your metabolism decreases. Over time your body says, all right, I guess we don't need this much energy. So what does it do with the excess? It starts storing more and more and more of your energy as fat. What happens when you start exercising regularly, let alone the millions of other benefits? We're not even talking about the excess calories that you'll burn, and as a result you'll store lesser fat, and none of that. Simply by depleting your energy tank at the end of every day, just within days, within weeks, you're able to signal to your body, you tell your brain to start giving you more energy, man. By exercising, you literally tell your mind to give you more energy. Isn't that the entire point of this video? Right? So deplete your energy by the end of your days. You want to, every night when you hit the bed, be drained, be done, have nothing more left in the tank. By doing that, over time, your body increases the capacity of your tank, and as a result, you increase your energy levels. So those are the 5 points I have for you, man. Again, each of these individually will have a good impact on your energy. So don't hesitate to start with just one or two if that's all you can muster up in the moment. But at the same time, remember that the synergistic effect of combining all of these together will blow you through the roof. Make your dreams a reality, one day at a time.